So this is a story about my former boss, John. I was walking the dog in the park the other day, and then I met a former colleague, and he said, "Hey, have you heard what happened to John?" And I was told that he was sick, but he said, "No, he's not sick. Something else is up with John." So I want to start the story when John was 16 and he started working at the company where he was my boss and where my former colleague also were working. And this is very unseen as you start as the age of 16 and not having any education in this area. But he worked his way up in the system and he climbed the career ladder there. So he started at 16. He had an awesome pension scheme and he was a success. He started as an intern and he came from very humbled background. It was working class and it was in an area that is known for its crime. So he got this job, this internship, and he started working his way up. And at the age of 19, he met his wife. And she was a model. And she knew the elite. And being so beautiful, she was dating CEOs, celebrities, and the rich men in the city that he were living. But she wanted to date him because he was solid, he was a hard worker, he was the security, he meant comfort for her, and because he was not that handsome at all, but he was a secure harbor, and he worked his ass off so she could get the great wedding, the dream wedding that she dreamt about. And then he also bought his first property. And later on, the place that he bought the property on, the real estate value there, it grew very fast. It was a great address that he built their house and their home on. And then they got their first son, and then the second son came, and then the third daughter came. But she was disabled. And he did everything that he could to create a great life for his son and his daughter. And he was working hard to make his happy, his wife to stay happy. He does to secure the education for his kids and building the best life for his daughter. And at the age of 18, when she was in a wheelchair and she wanted her certificate, her driver's license, he built this custom-made car for her and made sure that even though she was disabled, that she could drive in this custom-made car. He built an extension to their house so she could live close by them and not move out, but as she was depending on them, but still having her own place. And we used to come back to his place for workshop. He opened up his home and he created whole day workshops in his home, and he fed us and he made sure that everybody was seen and fed and understood. And he was such a great boss for us. And also me having an autistic son, he had he had he I got the best work life balance with him. And he understood when I was frustrated. He understood when I got a call from the school and I have to go back and get my son because something happened at the school again. And it was very stressful time for me. And he saw that and he respected that. And he gave me the space and the room for still creating value as still at the work, still performing, and still be the best mom that I could be for my sons. So he was such a great guy, and we talked a lot about what is going to happen when we retire, when he retire, and when COVID hit. We didn't work together now. I moved on. I started working in another place. And when the COVID hit, we met up when they opened up. And then he was in his best shirts and he was just, I want to live my life now. I have two friends that just died because of heart attack, just all of a sudden, just after COVID. And there he was with his great pension scheme, his big house, his enormous salary, his wife, and the kid. And he has always worked 24/7. And now he was 60 plus years and he wanted to live his life. And we met at this bar and we invited also our other colleague and we were drinking wine and just chatting about life and how great life now was going to be after the lockdown, and that he felt like now he have to use his savings because he had a lot of savings. I have to live my life now. And then I moved on with my life and I didn't heard anything from him other than that he all of a sudden started to work for the government. And he was a contact person for people that has been incarcerated. So that was a little bit strange, but the story was that he is such a great leader and he's so perfect from these former inmates. So he's such like a good guy guiding them in their life. And then I met the former colleague in the park yesterday, not yesterday, but a couple of days ago. And he told me, have you heard about John? And the story was that he was laid off of the work from this company that he had given his life and time and blood and tears since he was 16. So after he was laid off, he fell into a depression. And then the model wife didn't like that. So after 27 years, she left him. So he sat there in the couch being depressed. The wife left him. The two sons moved out. The disabled daughter moved out. And he had to sell his house. And he was about to live the best life that he could ever have. And no, it was instead the darkest times of his life. So the story that I heard that he was sick, that it was an aneurysm. It was not an aneurysm at all. It was depression. And everybody that he has been working for, he has built a life for his family. And when the shit hits the fan for him, everybody left him. That is such a sad, sad, sad story. Sad story. And I feel it feels such a waste of time. I'm not sure what, and it's also such such a heartbreaking story that your kids and your wife just leaves you hanging there. They don't show up for him after he has given all his time and money on building their life, and now they're just moved on because they don't like what they see. They don't like their father not being the strong person anymore, the strong leader. He doesn't have that identity anymore. And it scares me. And I feel when the last time I saw him, he was so happy and ready to enjoy life. And that was his peak. That's where when he peaked. And we have heard this story over and over again. This is not a unique story at all. His life story is the life story of many, many, many men, I think. Many, many men. Of course, a lot of women are also left behind by their husbands when the women get too old for them, or they want a new and younger version. They are not so successful, so they want the 30, 40-year-old younger or something like that instead, because you are in a crisis. When you are in a middle-age crisis, you do stupid stuff like that. But I feel so for John, because from the bottom of my heart, he do not deserve this treatment. And today I received a text message from my girlfriend, former colleagues, now girlfriend from the same company. And she sent me a picture of a Bollinger bottle, a champagne. And she said, "We can't drink this alone. Who should we invite?" And of course, we want to invite John. I want to meet John. I want to talk with John. I want to hear his life story. So I really, really hope that there will be a next episode of this. So I will know, how is things now? How is he doing? What can I do to help? Will he meet us? Will he still drink champagne? Is he able to drink champagne? Or has he isolated himself completely? Is he ashamed of the situation because he hasn't told anybody about his situation? We didn't knew about the divorce from his wife, and it's been some years now. And my former colleague was like, kind of spilled the tea on that. And I felt so sad because he doesn't deserve this at all, because he was such a kind man. He still is such as of course I am convinced he is the nice person that he is. So men end up in this situation also. And I'm not sure why I'm so invested in this. Because I think I know I am invested because he gave so much. And I remember that he supported me in a degree that I feel like I have to pay back. And it was not only my work-life balance. He listened to me. He listened to my expertise. He funded my prototypes. He jumped into new methodologies of developing app development, and he trusted me and my former colleague, now then girlfriend, way of working, and he was so fascinated by that. He said, "I wonder what it's like to have that kind of expertise, knowing something on such a deep level that you do." And that's such a compliment. That is such a compliment. And I know where he's coming from, because his expertise was being a great leader, and not in the digital area. He was great at leading people and making people come together, and being and acknowledged expertise and knowing who to hire. And I also remember a hiring process when we hired someone from abroad, and how he helped him establish himself in this country, buying new home for this new colleague, making sure that he found the right schools for his children, helping him with events so that he could start making friends, inviting him at his home, which is kind of unseen in Scandinavia. So I think everybody knows him for this quality, unseen quality as a leader. And I missed him very much. And I'm so sad that they laid him off. I'm not surprised, because it's a hardcore company after all. And maybe his lack of expertise in the digital area just caught up with him as I moved on and other digital expertise moved on. Maybe he was stripped. And being 60 plus, you are very replaceable. And that is also sad. So he was disposable. His ex-wife disposed him, the workplace, the friends died on him. And that's not a crime, but that is just life. And his kids are living their best life. And it's hard for them to see their dad not being the dad that they know. I think they need, when you are close to people with depression, maybe they think they need to protect themselves in a way. I would really, really, really love to meet him and see if I can give something back to him for what he gave me, because now I'm in another situation. I'm not stressed out anymore. I'm not at that place where I can give things, I can give back, I can pay back. And this is the time. So I hope that he will do that. So the statistics for men unaliving themselves are horrible. And the statistics in Scandinavia is when you are 70 plus, it has a big rise. And I think the reason for that is just when you are retired and you don't have the same identity anymore, and your kids has left the house and you don't see them as much anymore. Maybe your wife leave you and you're all alone, and then you didn't take care of your friends, and now you're sitting there. And then of course you can go on YouTube and you can engage with communities. I think that would be a great solution. And you can start a new learning process. You should also start your own YouTube channel, because it's so easy, and start to connect with people abroad and globally. And that's the power of the internet and the technology. But I can see a shift within the younger generation. Like with my sons now, they are having a lot of friends and they keep having them friends, and they know the importance of keeping their friends even though they are meeting their girls and the girlfriends, and they are having relationships on the third year now, and they're starting to not see each other as much anymore because they are going on colleges, getting their first job, leaving the city to other cities, and but still connecting. And the communication is, they are so verbally telling each other that they love each other. And that is so new for me as a Scandinavian, that just like they tell each other, I love you, bro. They use a lot of the bro here too. And I love you, take care of yourself, how are you doing? They talk about their upbringing, they're talking about life. There are such, there's, it's, this generation is new in that sense. As Gen X and boomers, we just let it pile up inside of us. Now they're talking. Anyways, in the environment that my sons are are having their daily life, like their friends and schools and the places that they're going and the where they work out, and yes, in their personal life they are inclusive of each other and of each other emotions, and young men has starting to talk, and there was a stigma that made men do not talk, and they do now. But still, I am almost 100% certain that that's not the case for everyone, and there will always be communities and cultures where you don't talk as men and you have to man up, and the old school male way of being and acting still exists, and it's exists in the workplace. Oh no, don't let me start on the workplace, because that's still hardcore and it will be hardcore forever. And of course, I don't know how things are in US, in UK. I think it's so different there. I think it's much, much, much harder. So I feel like if I can give something, help people to open up, to talk about their emotions, like we do all the time through music. I think a lot about music being the sanctuary where you can go to and express emotions and have an outlet on the emotions. The best therapy there is are music. I trust music much more than therapists. I don't trust therapists at all. I don't trust the system there at all. If you're all alone, you can go to music if you don't have anybody to talk to. You can go to concerts, you can go to festivals, you can be included in fan bases. That's the way to talk and share experience and be happy and share the love. Music is the best thing that ever happened to people. Music is the best thing that happens to humanity. And I don't think John has music in his life in that level, because the company sponsored vendors, not company sponsored vendors, but we hired vendors, expertise. So we outsourced a lot. And as a thank you, we got tickets for festivals. So we were representing the company at festivals, but he didn't want to join. He gave the tickets to his coworkers or the employees. So we went instead. I love that. But I would love for him to come as well, to love music more, to engage in music more. music and football. Football is also life and the community there, love, passion. But yeah. And he was rooting for a football team, but it was the wrong team in that city. So in the derby, he was always alone. Can you resonate with this? I hope that people can resonate with this. I think men can resonate with John's life if you are above 60. And maybe this is the fear. Maybe if you're younger, you fear the life of John. But what is very fearful for me to think about is when I grew up, we read A Lamb to a Slaughter from Roald Dahl, actually the one who is behind Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And he also wrote crime novels. And it was not A Lamb to the Slaughter, but it was another. Was it A Lamb to a Slaughter? No, I'm now mixing things up. But anyways, being an I remember I wrote one of the novels about an accountant that lived his life always working, coming home, not living his life, and then just dies. And nobody wanted to be that accountant. We wanted to create a career and wanted to live our life. And it's repeating itself. That pattern is repeating itself. We have more pressure on succeeding career wise than we ever had. And it's so expensive to live. The living costs are so high now, and you can't have a stay at home wife anymore. And the women has to have a career, and we want to have a career, of course, but it's on the expense of something. It is always on the expense of something. So I think like being a wife, career woman, mother, sister, and a daughter. That is 5 identities that I got. And you can't have them all. It is impossible to have them all. So I removed the wife thing. And then I have focused on my sons, my career, and my siblings. And I haven't been focusing a lot on my parents. And it's a reason for that. But these are the 3 things that I'm back to. I've been super involved. I'm a daughter for my mother, but I live so far away. That's why I feel like it's only 3, because I don't take care of her on a daily basis. And as I've told before, she is diagnosed with cancer, and I'm thinking about it a lot now. Should I, and the CT scan that she's going to have on the 8th of March, maybe I should go back and check on that. And if it's bad, maybe I should go back and check on that. I mean, I should go back to my birthplace and take care of her if that's the case, maybe. But I don't know anything. And my sister has been taking care of her. And she's been doing the hard work there, my big sister, and I'm guilty conscious about that. But the only thing I could do, I could only like my sons and my career. And also you are also a friend. You're also a friend, so it's such many roles, and you can't have it all. You can't have it all. And that is the hard truth for the Western living in any case. Unless you have just like a filthy rich husband and you don't have any ambitions of being a career woman. And this is the thought process that I got from John's story. And I think it resonates with a lot of people, as I said. Is it women's responsibility to take care of male mental health? Yes, it is. And since I have sons, I'm very focused on it. I will be a mother forever. So, in any stage, I want them to succeed and be happy. So, if I get to be 100 years, then I will see them getting so old and how they will cope in this stage as well. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Because you're a mother for life. There will always be your kids. And my biggest concern is with my sons. And I learned so much about having sons, about how it is to be a young boy, being a young man. And I will also learn how it will be to be a man that is going to provide. And I'm gonna be an attentive grandmother. I hope that I can be a part of their life if I'm so lucky to be a grandmother. I'm looking forward to that. I would look forward to have babies and like having a mini me's of the sons or what I call it. Can't wait for that. But yeah, I can wait because they can't be too young. This was the words. Until next time. Bye bye.